Today I have a really cool hidden gem to show you. These are a series of wallets designed by a company called Sketch Wallets. They have their own notebooks as well as these really unique designs that they specifically created for artists to take their work on the go. What's weird though is that these might also be some of the best choices for someone who is a creator like myself, or just somebody who generally wants to keep notes. And today I wanted to introduce you to them and why you might want to consider them. Now first let me say, I really enjoy the emblem, the marketing, the textured notebooks, which I'll show you in a minute. There's a lot to like about these products. Unfortunately, I think what happened is they thought too small, right? They were marketing to such a niche group of people who are also the most particular people that I know of how they do things, that change is not necessarily something they're willing to do. But if you're talking about notebook wallets as something designed for productivity, I really felt that they missed out on a huge clientele, like a huge group of people who would love these. And so I'm going to present this as like a option for someone who wants to be productive, a good design, somebody who has in fact designed his own notebook wallet. And I'm telling you, these are good, in some cases better than my own design. And I'm going to show you why. So start with the smallest of the bunch. Now these wallets, where my wallet was designed to be a wallet first and then a notebook as a secondary medium, these were designed specifically around the notebook itself. So they have their own notebooks, very nice by the way on the texture, and the pricing is really quite surprising. So I will show the listings here as we go through, but none of these are more than $40, I believe, and some of them are actually quite reasonable. This has 3 slots for cards, all of which are RFID blocking. And you also have a spot for your notebook. You can take the notebook out, of course, and then use it for additional cards. Now, because I'm in the middle of a move, I don't have a ton of my gear, including some of my spare credit cards. So I'm gonna take out some cash to play with here. Let me take out a few business cards we can utilize for cards. I'm kind of in this limbo state, but I really wanted to get this review out. So, no problem with business cards or cards. You're gonna have no issues there. And you also have, in addition to card slots, you also have a spot for cash. Now what's really interesting is it doesn't initially appear like you will be able to use this for cash bifolded. Let me go ahead and unwrap all of this. So if I take my cash here and I stick it in, it actually fits American bills perfectly. So the dollar, no problem whatsoever, fits in perfectly. And the height actually allows for a lot more that you could put in. So if you have bills that are the same approximate length but are a little taller, they're gonna work for this as well. I really like that. That's something that I didn't incorporate in my design. I wanted it to be a little narrower. So this has a little bit more poofiness to it, but I really like the bifold nature, and I think a lot of other people will. Very much appreciated. Now, unfortunately, the big downside I have with this small design is that this is, well, it's not very useful. I mean, it's great for an artist, but that's about it. And unfortunately, there are very, very few pens that would fit in this slot. The only one that I can think of, in fact, is, well, there's a couple. The Big Idea Designs screw down mini pen will probably fit in here. I don't have that right now, but I'm pretty sure it does. And also the Expands pen, the mini Expands pen may fit in here as well. That one's one of the shortest and it does get to a usable length. The issue for me is that with this elastic, it's just not binding particularly well. And I did play with this wallet a little bit, and I found that the pencil continued to fall out. That is the only issue I have with it. And I think it could be alleviated by having something that has a clip, because it has a clip, it can hold on, and then it's no longer an issue. So any of the pens that have a clip like the mini Expands that are small might work with this wallet, but it's not my favorite of the bunch. I wanna put that away for the time being, and I'm gonna open up this one because I think this one might be one of my favorites. Now it's about the same height as the small, but it is a lot wider. Now they have a specialized sketch book in here, and all these books come with this cool little sketch wallet clip, which I think is really nice. And also these are really stacked. They have a lot more pages than you'll find some of these notebooks normally do. I like that. Once again, we fortunately have the same amount of space for the pencil, but there's a lot more card slots because you can go horizontally versus vertically versus horizontally, right? And so that's a big improvement. The other thing I really like is this cash spot. So if you see how this works with American bills, you can see there is a lot of space on both sides for it to use and a lot of height. This is going to fit pretty much, not all, but pretty much every paper currency that I can think of. So if you're traveling to somewhere like Europe, this might be a very good option, and I even love the color. I am definitely going to keep this wallet, this particular one, because of that exact reason. It's a perfect wallet to have for me, who likes to always use a notebook and has RFID blocking plus spots for any sized bill currency. So this is fantastic, and the price is right. So nice job, cool colors. I really like the red. In fact, I like the red far better than I like the black. It does appear also to be a slightly different fabric and is a little bit softer to the touch. So really cool on this mid-sized version of the sketch wallet. But as far as having flaws, I mean, we talked about having that little slot so it doesn't work with too many pens. None of those are issues with the largest of the variations. This one is gonna fit a standard 3.5, is it 3.5 by 5-inch notebook, I believe? Yeah, I think that's the standard field note style, only the notebook that they send with it. This thing is a chunky boy. So this has a lot of pages. They actually produce really nice notebooks, I gotta say. And the texture on the notebook, the thickness of it, like it really is quite nice. So it's not just the wallet that's nice, but the actual paper that they are using, the notebooks, they're all great. And in the middle of this, we have a full-sized compartment for a pen. Now, the pen I happen to be carrying in mine right now is the twin tip. So I don't know if this might be a bit big for this particular pen wallet, but let's see how it does. So I'll get it all the way in. There we go. No, I mean, it still, oh yeah, it still fits just fine. Wow, and that's a pretty big pen. So if that's gonna work, then pretty much everything will. And I like this additional slot, so you can put a flash drive in here, put a key in there. I think they also kind of wanted you to include like a little pencil and that kind of thing. You could certainly do that. And once again, we have a whole bunch of vertical card slots. This is fantastic. And it has a little hidden thing that I find to be pretty amazing, and that is a spot for cash right here at the top. And so you can still do that, and it has the same length as the red one, which we just looked at. The only thing that's different, and the only real critique I have with this wallet, is that the depth of it could have been made deeper, right? It could be deeper than this, and that would allow it to accommodate even bigger bills like the red one did. And I just think that it would be a nice little option. It does appear like it will still fit most currency, so I'm not super worried, but I really like this design. I actually think it's one of the better notebook wallet designs that I've ever come across in the whole thing, like since the beginning of this channel. And the only reason I think you likely haven't heard of it is because they cater primarily to artists instead of reaching the much wider market, which is productivity. And that's where they missed out on this. That's my opinion. And I think it's a huge opportunity for them to expand their market. So you need to be made aware that this exists. It's a really reasonable price. I'll put a listing here so you can see it. And I highly recommend checking these guys out. Really well done. In fact, I mean, this particular one's a little bit big for me, but if I was traveling, this might be a great option, because just like a field notes, your passport will fit here as well. And being RFID blocking means this will also function as a passport cover. So home run on the big one, and even the other two are quite nice, especially for the price. That's pretty much all I'm going to say today. Definitely check out Sketch Wallet. I'll put a link down below, and we'll talk again soon.